Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special episode of Tiki Talk. I'm here with Mischief. Say hi, Mischief.
What's up?
And we're both here to talk about the upcoming season of Survive the Island as the former two winners of the first and second season. So, yeah, we got a lot to talk about.
They are the villains. No, they're too close together up top.
Oh my gosh! Oh
You
shit!
didn't expect to
Ah,
fly back.
yes. Oh my god!
If you don't know what Survive the Island is, it's basically a 10-week long COD tournament. We bring 12 players in. Each week, one gets eliminated. We kind of follow some of the tropes of Survivor, but we do make it our own with it being COD. But we're bringing in some new things, and we can talk about those briefly if Mischief wants to, because I know that those are kind of going to be in his realm as he co-hosts the second season or third season with me.
Yeah, I mean, kind of like the other seasons, there's always a lot of twists and turns. So I definitely want you to kind of talk about more of the kind of factors, twists, turns, immunity idols that are going to be set in during the game. But I would say don't go too into detail because I want to keep everyone guessing.
Keep them on their toes. Yeah, let's
Exactly.
just go with some of the like overview stuff. Um, like this is going to be a thing, and just kind of hit on the couple new things. We do want to obviously keep some secrets, so you have to actually watch the episodes. But we're bringing immunity idols in for the first time, a hidden immunity idol concept. So we're going to be doing challenges for players to give them a chance to kind of save their own butt, because in the past there has been immunity, but it's either team oriented or toward the end of the game once a merge happens. So this gives kind of a earlier window to keep yourself safe from elimination. Do you want?
Yeah, I
I was gonna
also
say,
think
go
it
ahead, talk
adds like
about
another. I think it adds another aspect to the game, whereas you can't just hop on the game, hop on your controller, slay out, and go home. I think there's a lot more thinking and strategizing. It becomes more of like a chessboard with all these kind of different dynamics thrown into the game. So I think there's going to be a lot of strategy, not only in game but outside of game, especially with these different advantages, disadvantages, idols, alliances. So it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, and the idea is to kind of incentivize players to form alliances more, bond more with their original tribes, because it might actually be important this time. We aren't straight eliminating people off points this year. We are allowing them to play a 1v1 that gives them kind of a last second chance. Obviously, we had Battle Bay in the past. We are keeping that in later weeks. But this is straight from the get go. You can no longer just be eliminated based on points. There will be that final 1v1. So that's something interesting. The other thing I do want to talk about, and kind of, um, I don't know how to, because I want to keep most of this kind of in our bag. So let me think about how to actually bring this up.
Mm.
Okay, this seems fair. Um, so we're doing a third game mode as the mystery mode. I don't want to talk about some of our ideas for the mystery mode, but that way we're not just playing HBS and the overload every week. We're also not gonna do. In the past, we had to switch overload out for like I don't know another HP. So we're gonna try to mix that up this year and see how adaptable these players are. Like you said, we don't want them just fully relying on CDL prowess, if that makes sense. I know some of these guys are in different leagues, so this way it'll keep them on their toes. You know, one week they might be playing in a 1v1 contest, and the other week they might be playing Dom with their team. So that might make it a little more interesting. Um, I don't know. Like I said, should be a fun element to it. I don't know. I know we've talked about it a little bit, and like I said, we don't want to give too much away. But what do you think
Yeah,
about
but
that as like a former player? You played in the season where it was just control, and then we got rid of
yeah,
that for
I mean,
HP. So what is your thoughts on that?
again, it really just adds a new layer to it and a new aspect for players to think about. I mean, during like our respective seasons, we didn't really have all too much to think about outside of the game or in terms of preparation. This adds like a new dynamic where you have to kind of sit down and think about, what's this other game mode? How are you going to prepare for it? In terms of classes or even like again, there's new aspects involved that I don't want to deep dive too much into because it would give way too much away. But again, it's really going to show a lot of the viewers and a lot of different players how are they going to adapt. We're going to see a new side of these players where great, some can play objective, some can slay out, some are smooth talkers, but how good are they at adapting? And I think it's going to be really interesting to see how they go about that.
Yeah, and like you said, we don't want to talk too much, so we can move on from that. I want to briefly talk about some of the guys in it because we have a wider range, and a lot of these people are new to us, at the very least, new to the audience as well. So let's talk about the returning guys first. We got Marv back. Dr. CJ, he was in both of those guys were in first and second season. Growler, Prime, Love Wins. Reflector, he's returning. He was in season 2 and 1.
That's a big
Uh,
return too, yeah.
hmm And Bitch the Kill is also back. So those are some of the returning guys. Like you said, with Reflectory, he was kind of the favorite in season 2. He
Oh
also
yeah,
made the
yeah.
finale in season 1. I had to play against him to get my win. So it's good to see him back because I know season 2 didn't end the way he wanted. And this is a big chance for him to kind of get redemption.
Yeah, no, I mean between seeing him, Growler, I mean most of the returning players, I think they all have like a little more to fight for now, and I think that's going to be really cool to watch because, of course, they all want to make a comeback and they all want to win this season. I'm sure they all kind of have enough confidence to think that this is their season. But, I mean, the name of the game is adaptability. Are they going to be able to do that? And again, there can only really be one winner. But, yeah, seeing these names, kind of like you said, Reflect was the betting horse last season. I mean, even playing in it, my money was on him all day, every day. I was nervous to go up against him, and yeah, I'm excited to have him back and see what he can do.
Yeah, I mean, same with Growler. He was in the finale last year, not the first season. He didn't make it to the finale, but I think you teamed with Growler in the finale as well, which makes it
I
interesting
did,
for you.
yeah.
Because you
Like
beat
if
him.
I had to just watching Growler play last season, if I had to give him like one word, it would be juggernaut. I mean, the guy is he's very hard to beat, and you kind of like you always feel accomplished if you ever do kind of get one up on him. But I mean, again, out of the returning players, we have some really good. We have some rock solid people. So there's no really clear, definitive, you know, uh, champ going into it. But Growler's a
Hmm.
hard hitter. It's going to be exciting to see what he does this next season. Is he going to change his gameplay? Is he going to play harder? Is he going to play smarter? It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, and I think honestly for him, he's probably gonna have to play smarter because if you are a top dog going in, there's going to be a target on your back in a way that I don't know if it's going to be there for the new guys because they're kind of figuring the game out for the first time. And while this is a completely different game than what we played, from a twist and like the overall game is kind of like you said, more social and gameplay related.
Yeah.
They're gonna have a lot more to catch up on, and so we got Morg, Sarah Love, Mystery, who has been around a while with us but hasn't played in the island, and D Boone and Orphan. So all these guys, I mean, you'll see for yourselves, very likable. Um, and they've kind of I don't know, I'm intrigued to see how they deal with being kind of thrown in with people one that they don't know as well. And that works both ways, obviously. The older guys aren't going to know the newer guys that well. But how they kind of form alliances and who they choose to kind of work with because they're coming in with a clean slate where the other guys kind of have pre, you know, pre-game alliances because they've been friends. So it's going to be a weird element.
I had an interesting opinion on this too, and my theory is that, of course, everyone's going to be kind of uh, very careful coming out of the gate when the game starts. But I have a very strong feeling that players, the women, are going to be very easy to get along with and going to be very good at making alliances. Whereas I think guys like D Boone, Orphan, and Mystery, although again, they have a good relationship with a lot of the people playing, I think they'll more so focus on the kind of gun skill and in-game strategy. So I'm kind of excited to see who edges who out because I know the girls are going to be amazing at making alliances and the out-of-game kind of strategy. And my theory is that I think the guys are going to be more focused on what they can control in-game with their guns and all that stuff. But again, this is all just theory. But I was thinking about that a lot.
Yeah, and obviously I think one of the teams to look at is like Team Twilight because you got
Hmm.
Bitch to Kill, but you also have Orphan, D Boone, and Reflectory. It's like who teams with who? Who tries to get an early like, hey, let's talk and let's, maybe make a pact to try to get to, top four, at least. Because I know, and I kind of want to segue into this is our individual strategies. That's what I did in season one. So our team was me, Breach, Styx, who was in the first two seasons, and Bitch to Kill. And we kind of Bitch to Kill went out first week. It was a it was a very bad situation. We played horribly. But after that, we were kind of like, hey, it's us three till it comes down to 2v2s in the finals there, final few weeks. And that's kind of what, I mean, we just stayed together. No matter what, any twists came up, we just stuck together and
Yeah.
rode it out to the end. I ended up sticking with Breach, which kind of backstab Sticks a little bit. And I did feel bad at the time because, it's like, it's us three, but there can only be two, the team for the finale.
Yeah.
And me
Yeah.
and Breach went together. And like I said, I mean, for me, part of it was, I won't say luck, but I was getting outperformed every week by Breach when we went to twos. And then the final week, I just was able to barely beat him. He had probably the roughest series he had the whole time, and I came out on top. So that's
Now let
kind
me
of an
ask you
element
this.
of it. Yeah.
Obviously you won, so you wouldn't really change much of what you did. But what would you say is something that you would go back and kind of not do again, or maybe a mistake you made that just, in the long run, it didn't really affect your gameplay too much? But what's one mistake that you're like, damn, I kind of maybe shouldn't have made that move?
I think
Um,
we had a chance. So when we went into it's weird for our game because we go from three teams to two and then to a merge where you're doing twos. So we had a chance to pick up a player from the third tribe because they're getting dissolved, and it was I think Siege, and somebody else. I can't remember who it was, and this is horrible because that's who we picked up. Um, it might have been Love Wins, I think. somebody like that, and we picked them over Siege because I didn't want us to have a fourth person, not that we liked, but like another person in. I didn't want that to be like, because I figured we would make it. Then Styx and Siege versus me and Breach, if that makes sense. So we decided
Yeah.
to leave Siege out, and while I think gameplay wise that was the right decision, I did kind of bum me out because it also left me without a choice. I was attached to Breach no matter what. At that point it
Yeah.
was like ride or die with Breach. So it would have gave me more options, but I do think probably was the right decision. It just
Mhm.
was probably the hardest one I made that first season. But like I
Yeah,
said,
I
there
mean,
was hardly any twists that first season. We were kind of just out there
so that
straight
was
up
that was
playing.
another question. My other question is, and I have an answer for when we get around to me. What do you feel like is the biggest thing? And obviously, don't go into detail because we're trying to hide it.
Oh,
But what do you think the biggest difference from your season one, is
mm-hmm.
from season three? What are the biggest differences, and why do you think you wouldn't be able to really play the same exact game you played, or just kind of use the same formula?
Because I think this game is going to be, in some ways, give you the opportunity to play a couple different ways. Like I said, the first season, there's only really one way to play, and it was like find a duo and hopefully you both make it to the end. Um,
Mhm.
this season, there's going to be twists and turns that make it like you could genuinely get backstabbed this season.
Yeah, yeah,
And so if you're not careful, your social game needs to be stronger. Like for me, I had 100% trust in Breach and I assume he did for me because there's nothing we could really do to each other, and there's no incentive to screw each other over. Now this
exactly.
season,
Yeah, there
there's
was.
no guarantees that who you think you're doing with till the end gets you out of the game in week 7 and moves on with somebody else and makes it to the end. There's no guarantees of that this season, which makes it kind of fun in that way.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I agree. I think a majority of my season there wasn't too many twists and turns, and me kind of being like D Boone, Orphan, Sarah, Morg, like I was kind of brand new to the whole entire league as well as the season. So when I went into season two, my strategy was kind of hold on to only Stick's leg and just stay with him throughout the whole game. Um, I would say the biggest move I made throughout the season that I won was win every single immunity that comes my way,
Mm-hmm.
solely because not only is that taking me out of the equation and taking me out of, you know, any likelihood of being eliminated, because let's be honest, everyone has a bad day, everyone has a good day. Like I don't want to chance it.
Right.
Um, so my strategy was that, like I don't want to overthink everything. Which I was talking to Marv a lot of that season, and he was kind of over analyzing and kind of making me anxious. But I was like, you know what? The best way to just kind of cut all that noise out is just win every single immunity. So that's what I went for, and it worked out. Um, Unfortunately, kind of similar to what you said, it came down to a point where I had to backstab my number one duo, the only friend I had going into the
Oh
season
yeah, I
with
remember.
Styx. I had to backstab him and team with Growler, but it
In
worked out in the end.
I was gonna say
Um,
I want to ask you about that because I don't know the conventional choice. Maybe I'm thinking wrong here, but wouldn't you say the conventional choice would be pick Sticks and just beat Growler? You know what I mean? And obviously it worked out for you because you outplayed him in the
mm,
one like the points, but like there was probably a better chance that he beat you in points than beat you head to head. I mean, maybe you disagree with that, but I don't know. I
yeah, so the
just
way it
quite
worked
curious
out
on that.
was it would have been me and Styx versus Growler and Prime, and I feel like during the respawns, the bleeding would have been far too much to stop. And it was really like a coin toss if we would have won those S&Ds. And I didn't want to really leave it up to chance.
Hmm.
I was feeling really confident in a lot of my S&Ds, and I was feeling very confident in my again, I'm always like an OBJ sub. I'm not really a super cracked sub slayer, especially in that COD. So I thought, you know what? Let me take that chance and try to edge Growler out by maybe a couple of points and go off of that. There was a small part of me that thought about teaming with Prime, and I actually think that would have given me the best chance of success. Uh, but I do think Prime was smart enough to know where if I asked him to team, he would have gone to Growler, and then I would have been um, right back with Sticks. I took a chance. I do think me and Sticks, though, we were heavily outmatched if we were to go up against Prime and Growler.
Yeah, and
Um,
I mean, we're gonna start speculating on the players this season's strategies, but it is an interesting element of thinking ahead of time of who you're bringing to the final four with you. Because if you
yeah,
bring
I
people
mean,
you can't beat, it's gonna be hard because you not only have to beat the other team, the other duo, but you have to beat the duo you're working with
yeah,
in a couple different ways. Because I know last year we brought in a jury. It's going to be the same this year, so it's going to be a weird one to see how these guys plan their strategies out to get to the end
yeah.
and win.
I mean, the way I saw the season I won compared to this upcoming season is I feel like the season I played was like kind of like a like a bloodthirsty caveman season where it was like
Mhm.
you want to outslay everyone. There was definitely a bit of strategy and definitely a bit of planning to it, but the way I played it was I don't want to have to overthink. I don't want to have to strategize. Let me just win every single immunity and just call it a day. And then again, the day where I need to show up, hopefully I play better than the other person, and that's how I win the game. I just played better than Growler on that one day.
Yeah, and
Um,
that's a weird that you say that because my strategy was the exact opposite. Me and Breach went for zero immunity. Like when it was individual immunity day, we we didn't try at all, and
oh, dude,
we
I
just
mean,
wanted to
I
play
was,
together the whole way to duo to the end because we knew that was our best chance. And like realistically, we were both fine with the other person winning. But yeah, it was definitely weird because the way you say it, I'm like you were more individual in your gameplay than I
yeah,
was, and I'm interested to see how this season goes for these guys in that
yeah. I
aspect.
mean, again, the biggest thing about the immunity for me was adapting because every immunity challenge that you kind of threw up on the board was very, very, and everyone knows, everyone in this league, everyone watching, yourself included, knows I do not play pubs.
Hmm.
So I don't use shotguns. I don't use pistols. I don't use snipers. So a lot of the immunity challenges during my season were snipers only or, gun game. And again, I'd be lying if I said it was easy. It really wasn't. I won by like one kill here, one kill there. So I'm curious to see how these players, and again, it's not going to be exactly the same. Everything's going to be changed up, but I had to adapt, and it got sweaty and it got frustrating. And again, I think my season was very straightforward. Just very head bash. This is the way you want to play it.
Hmm.
You know, get the kills, win the games. You're done. This season, it's not like that. Like I said, it's very like 3, 4 dimensional where you have to think about different aspects of will you do well in the game? Is your alliance actually loyal to you? You have to worry about other outside factors. You have to worry about backstabs. So really, I mean, it's almost like a board game mixed with a video game, and it's going to be really interesting to to see from
Yeah.
our perspective, at least.
Yeah, because for us, like you said, we played like the brute force versions, and they, like I said, to evolve it to where it is now. Like this is the first iteration of the game in this format, and I do like this season. I think from most perspectives, I think it's going to be better. I think it's going to be more entertaining for you guys to
Definitely.
watch. It will be interesting to see though how it goes because it's going to be weird. And I do want to talk a little bit about some strategy, and I want to start with Marv. He's been the top 5 guy, top 5 in
Yeah,
season 1 and
always
2.
always top 5, man.
How do you think, and I'll talk too about this, how do we think, let's say it that way, Marv gets to the final 4 and gets a shot to win this year as opposed to the last 2 seasons?
How does he? Do you mean like what strategy would I tell
Yeah.
him to do?
Like, I mean,
All right, so
he
I've
let's
always
not give him
said
too
this.
many good ideas, but yeah.
No, no. I'll keep it very general and very plain. I think Marv, and this is a great quality to have for a lot of things in life, but I don't think it's really good to have for this season. There's a such thing as playing the game too hard.
Mhm.
Uh, in terms of like overthinking, overanalyzing, trying to do everything, and it 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 gets noticeable and it does rub people the wrong way,
Mhm.
and it will limit your alliance options. And just speaking from experience from my season, which I don't think he plans on playing the same way. I think he's just got to take a chill pill. I think he has to look at what's in front of him and adapt accordingly, rather than look at 101 reasons why this could happen, but this could happen XYZ. Like
Mhm.
it's he's preparing too much,
Yeah,
and
I
I
agree.
think he freaks himself out and he freaks out everyone around him, and
And
that kind of might mess him up.
yeah, I think when you play the game too hard, people just don't trust you anymore, if that makes sense. Like, people don't want to form an alliance with you because they really think that you're just gaming them and you're going to backstab them later. And I don't know how much of that he can change for the new season. There's new people, and I think that's what gives him the best shot at kind of changing that. Or he could go the opposite route. And I think this season over the others, he could be successful in it. Now, he might still struggle in the finale because of it, but he can play a solo game this time and just go to keep himself in it. And I think he might, I mean, he'll definitely be the villain of the season again for sure, but he
Yeah,
could be just
yeah.
utter selfish, cutthroat player if he wanted to, because I think the season will reward that more than the last seasons did. The last seasons, you really had to kind of be a little more friendly, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I do think he has so many options in terms of how he wants to play this season. But I'm nervous for him, like I'm excited to watch him play. He's one of the more interesting players to watch. But yeah, he really can turn around and play a solo game. Just kind of say, fuck it all, I'm playing for myself. Or he really could kind of reach over to other people and say, hey, make an alliance with me, and then kind of tit for tat. I help you out, you help me out. I'm just hoping again he doesn't regress to the older seasons, and I think that's what really messed him up and limited him to fifth place. Uh, just kind of trying to make either too many alliances, trying to cover too many bases, or just really overthinking. I mean, I just remember him telling me about things he thought would happen that I'm like, yeah, no, I don't think I can't imagine Mark hiring 10 other players to join the game, and I have to 1v10 them. It just doesn't make sense. And he's like, "Well,
uh,
no, technically,
yeah.
but
Yeah, Marv's
I
definitely
mean,
a schemer, and so I think he'll like the
yeah,
way the
yeah.
season's set up for him.
Mhm.
I do wonder about Growler though, because I want to see if he finally chooses to duo and pick an alliance and kind of go with it to the end, because he's never done that. He kind of just survives until the end. And I mean, even season one, he didn't make it because he didn't have anyone and he ended up seventh for that reason, because he was kind of bouncing duo to duo once the merge hit. And so I'm interested to see how he handles it this year, because I think he has a chance to kind of make a steady alliance and bring somebody to the finale that he thinks he can beat and also win with. Um,
Yeah, I love and I hate Growler. Watching his older season before the season before my season, I remember him playing with skill shots and I'm like, dude, this guy fries. Like he is really good, really solid. He's a very smart player on the map. Um and then last season playing with and then, against me and then with me,
mhm,
uh the guy's top tier. He's very good and he's definitely someone you got to watch out for. Um what scares me is, again, I don't think he'll have the same luck he had with my season. Um, despite the way he sounds, though, he is a smart guy. I'm k- I'm joking, but he's a smart guy. He will be able to adapt. He's very adaptable, and I think this season, um, I wouldn't put him as like the super front runner,
mhm,
but the guy knows what he's doing. He's going into this season with a lot of pre-made alliances of people he knows. So he has a lot of options of people he would want to keep to the end or people he might want to, eventually get down to backstabbing. We don't know, but
right.
he has a lot of options on how to play the game too. It just really depends on how he executes that. But he'll be, again, I'll say this. He'll be a very interesting player to watch. He's a personality for sure.
Yeah, I think that's safe to say. Let's talk two more people here. Um, let's talk about the good doctor, Doctor CJ. He's never really made it to the final grid. He's got eighth place both times. Now, I do think he's significantly better at BO7 than he ever was at Black Ops 6. That's no shade. He'll tell you the same thing.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
really good at movement games. He's also, I think, very comfortable with the way this game plays. That said, I think he's going to have to be a little more strategic. He's not a very cutthroat person, and I don't know if he has to play that way, but I do think he has to prioritize his like a strategy, a game plan before he goes
Mhm.
into this. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Like he can't just go in expecting to be the gun, like play well and make it to the end. Because I think that he can do it, but I also think if he has a game plan, I think he can execute it and easily be in the top four, make it to the finale.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think this COD specifically, he's very good at, and I think he needs to take advantage of that and not just kind of play the role of chill, sitting back, show up, do whatever. I think he really needs to kind of make some alliances and some out of game moves that are really going to benefit him. I can definitely see him as a top 4, top 3 contender. It really just comes down to what's going on around him, how does he react to it, and what kind of moves does he make? Because I would say this, a lot of his moves in the game specifically are the most crucial, especially out of all the players. I think he has maybe not as many options as Marv and Growler, but his options are very, I would say, black and white. And there
Mm-hmm.
could be a wrong move in there, and I think he's got to be a little more careful. I mean, he's in the top tier now. He's a great player, uh, especially at this game, which has impressed the hell out of me. So he needs to take advantage of that and kind of use that, use that to his will.
Yeah,
Um, Another question I wanted to ask again. I don't mean to waste too much time on too many players. Again, we could talk about each of these people for a while,
right.
but I want you to name and give kind of a summary. I want you to name two dark horses that you think will be either really interesting to watch or you think will kind of sneak up maybe into the top 5, top 4, top 3?
Well, I want to start with the obvious one. Prime. I mean, he went from 10th season 1 to 4th season 2. I think he's got the gun skill for it. I don't know if he's got the social game for it. But I also think that he's one of the guys that most top players are gonna want to duo with, and it might be to their own demise because they're gonna be thinking they can beat him in the end. But in my opinion, if they take him, if somebody's like, hey, let's say it's, for lack of better people, let's say it's Growler because they're starting on the same tribe there.
Yeah.
If Growler's
yeah.
like, hey, me and you, Prime, to the end, I think I mean, it's a good way for Prime to kind of get to the end and find a way to win, in my opinion. So I'd say he's a dark horse just strictly because of that.
Great answer.
And then what?
I
You
agree
agree with that?
wholeheartedly.
Mm-hmm. And then one of the other people I would say is I'm kind of 50-50 on this one. So let me think. Let's say Orphan. I think Orphan
Ooh,
has
okay.
a sneaky chance at flying under the radar. I think he's very chill. I've teamed with him. He's not gonna ruffle any feathers. He's probably also not gonna blow you out of the water like, hey, we gotta find a way to get this guy out. And because of that, I think he'll find a way to get at least to the top 6 if he plays his cards right and he kind of is just a winning piece for the teams. And I mean, I'm not saying he can't win, but I think that's how he gets toward the end. Because once you get to the end, things get weird. You're playing twos,
Yeah,
and
dude, the
teams are
game kind of
shifting all
flips
the
itself
time.
upside down. Yeah,
Exactly. You
it
just
gets
have to
very serious very
survive.
quick.
You have to survive the gauntlet to start. And then
Mhm.
once you're in the, I mean, honestly, once you get past top 8, which, like I said, Siege was never able to, you're kind of in a different game, if that makes sense. You're not really,
Yeah. Yeah.
COD isn't the main important thing. You have to show up on game day, but it's 2v2. And so
Yeah,
that
and
factor makes it a little
again, the
different.
whole you can go into the game with 12 people and say, "Hey, here's my strategy to get to the end." But I'm telling you, once you hit that top 8, everyone has to tweak their strategy to a
Hmm.
degree.
And everyone starts
Everything kind of
panicking,
becomes
too.
a little more cutthroat, and everyone has to be a little more careful. I really like your answers. Prime, I make this joke to him a lot. I see a lot of myself in him, where his gunny is crazy. Um, in terms of alliances and out of game, can't really speak too much. I think the dude's chill. It's really up to him of like, is he going to prepare for certain things? Is he going to be able to adapt? So I think it's kind of like a wild
Hmm.
card situation, but I definitely see him being a dark horse. And then Orphan, again, I love that answer. Orphan, I think, is a very solid player. I think he keeps under the radar. I'm very curious to watch him and see how he goes about everything.
Yeah.
Um, in terms of my two dark horse uh, picks, you know me, and I'm a sucker for this kind of thing. But I'd have to go. These people are vibey, and I love them, and I'm really rooting for them. I would say, in terms of content and watching them every week, I'm really excited to see them. I'm going D Boone, and I'm going Sarah Love. I I can't get enough of these two, and I'm really excited to see what happens with both of them. Uh, D Boone has fried my ass, so I know he's good at COD. And Sarah seems like a very good vibe. I think she will get along with a lot of players and do well in terms of strategizing. So I'm hoping they can really help each other out. And Debo's a smart guy, straight up, and he's easy to get along with. I think it won't be really a hard time for him to make alliances. And same thing with Sarah. I think she'll have a super easy time making alliances. So I'm really interested to see what kind of damage they do and how far they get. And to be honest, I could see both of them again if the stars align and they make all the right moves. I can really see them both making top 8.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
which again, I'm a sucker for a good love story. I love these two players, so wishful thinking, but also hell, man, I'm rooting for them. I'm showing a little bit of bias. I can't help it.
Yeah, I mean, I like that. I think that that's not terrible. And I was talking to somebody, and you probably know who, but for the sake of this, not gonna say. But this
Mhm.
season's weird in the fact that I'm like, I don't like some crazy stuff can happen. Like somebody might be gone in week 1, and we're just like, what? Like
I'm
how
afraid,
is
like,
that person going?
if someone were to ask me who's the front runner, who do you think is going to win the season? I'm afraid to answer that question solely because of again, there's so many dimensions, so many factors, so many things that can change on like a whim. I can't definitively say who I think is going to win. Like for all we know, the top prospect could go week 3 because of a crazy
Twist,
decision
yeah,
or move or whatever. Like you really don't know this season. And I will say this: the winner of this season is definitely going to be an an advantage when comparing themselves as winners to the past 2 seasons because this season I do believe is a lot harder to win than the past two, and
yeah.
that's hard to admit being a champion
Well,
myself, but it's
into
true.
I hate to do any inside baseball because like obviously I think it's safe to say we've talked about in other stuff that like after this season we're gonna do a Champions Island, which is gonna be crazy, and we're gonna be back playing in it, which is gonna be weird because it's almost gonna end up more toward our ballpark in that sense because there's probably gonna have to be less twists because we're in the game. And it's
Exactly,
gonna be a
yeah, it's
weird
gonna have to
season because we're gonna have to go back to playing, and I don't know how it's
be.
gonna go for us. But I mean, it's gonna be. I'm excited to see who wins this because I agree. I think whoever wins this is probably the first true like survive the island winner. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
and I'm excited to see what we do this season and how we're able to just see if we can run with it in future seasons as well because I think that
yeah,
it
I
will
mean,
make it very entertaining for everyone watching.
yeah, I'm looking at these 12 players, and I gotta say, like, compared to the past two, this is by far the hardest season. So,
Mhm.
I mean, hell, man, I mean, and I don't mean any disrespect to the first person that's going to get eliminated because someone has to.
Right.
But you make it past week 1, you should definitely go home, have yourself a drink, be proud of yourself because again, it's not gonna be easy. That's the fun of it. So
Yeah. I
it's
mean,
gonna be it's gonna
go
be a
in
good one for
thinking
sure.
you're can make it to the end and just figure out how you can. My only advice.
Yep.
I mean, I didn't think I was making it top 4 the way I was playing last game, but
Oh yeah.
my
I
strategy
was just
worked.
happy to
So it
be there,
was,
man.
yeah, like if
I was
you
just
go
happy to
in
be there.
with like a mindset of like, well, how can I figure this out? And I think this season will give you more than just a couple ways to do it. But I'm excited to
Yeah.
see it. Like I said, it's gonna be, I mean, not a while, but episode 1 dropping March 8th for everyone that wants to check it out. It'll be Sundays, I believe 8 Eastern, if I'm not wrong there. So
Yeah. What's that in London time exactly?
I don't know. You got Google. Somebody Google that, put it in the comments or something for us. If we have any London. We used to have this is a tangent. I'll do it like in 5 seconds. We used to have a viewer who watched our Villains Only podcast we used to run who was Germany, and he would watch every episode
Ooh,
because I could track it
god damn.
on Pandora, and it was hilarious because I'm like, does this guy know anything that we are talking about? Um,
To see.
we kind of lost him because we stopped doing that podcast, and I'm like, I felt bad because he was like a Pandora viewer or something. It was very weird and it was hilarious because we would always talk like shout him out during the podcast. But yeah, I mean, wherever you're watching from, like I said, if you like this kind of stuff, we're always trying to do it. The island, maybe other stuff we'll see. We might just focus on this. You never know what we do, but either way, first episode's going to be March 8th, and like I said, subscribe, like it, and yeah, we'll try to do as much as we can to keep it going. I mean, that's always the plan, you know.
Hell yeah.
All right. If anyone has a comment, I guess leave it down below, like questions about the game. I'm always checking that. We'll reach out and get you an answer. And I mean, I think
Always.
that's it for us. Unless you want to say who you think's gonna win. I mean, you want to end it like that or no? I know you said you weren't
Uh,
confident in it, so
well, two things. I think, if people do have questions, I did talk to a few people and they're excited for the season. And I feel like the island is kind of like your star child, your bread and butter. I think it has a lot of people excited. So maybe we do a halfway through the season pod,
Mhm.
depending on how many questions we have, and we could talk about players eliminated by that time
I
and
was gonna say,
whatnot.
hey,
But
we can do an every episode pod, but it might be weird for our schedules. We'll have to see how that all
but
works.
if
But
if I had to put if I had to pick a player I think is gonna win it, uh, like I said earlier, you really don't know. I'll give three players I could see in the top three, and I'm gonna go with Reflect, uh, D Boon, and Siege. And I'd like to hear yours as well.
you want my top 3? Okay.
Yeah, top three who you think are gonna be like final three, or
It's hard because I
obviously
don't
there
have
could be a
Sticks
final
this
four.
season. Sticks was like a lock top 3,
Dude, he
so
always made it. Dude, he
we'll have
he
to
he
see.
got us there. He got
Um,
us there.
I think I got Growler. We'll go Prime and we'll go Marv. Will be my
Good
top 3, just
answers.
to make it
Good
interesting.
answers. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
like Siege, but me and him have talked, and I'm like, part of me wants him to lose, and not on some hater stuff, but I don't know. I'd hate to go against him in season or in the Champions one. That's my main reasoning
Yeah.
for it. So yeah, it's gonna
Again,
be
though, I'm
interesting.
I'm excited. I like again watching this season. I really genuinely want to be kicked in the mouth, and I want to turn around and be like, "Oh my god, this person is winning the whole thing." Like, I want to turn around by week 2 or 3 and be like, "Yo, Orphan, I think he's winning now," or
Hmm.
Morg, yo, she's been playing, lights out game, and like that's what I'm excited for, and I hope that does happen. I want to be shocked. I'm ready to be shocked. I'm ready to be entertained. So yeah, let's get it going.
Yeah, we'll see you guys on March 8th.